Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Ryan Urich here, and today, I'm using my mic today because I listened back to the microphone on the webcam, and yeah. So I'm probably doing like daily reaction videos, but um, won't be all the time though, just because this is like easy to edit, easy to put out. So I am reacting to. Hold on, figure this out. Jesus. Top 10 reasons not to move to Canada. Now, this is total BS because Canada's great. And yeah, I'm gonna be eating because I gotta work in about an hour and a half. So, yeah. All right. Go.
Oh, Canada! With everything going on in the world right now, you may have contemplated moving to another country. And for my viewers from the States,
Yeah.
which is most of you guys, the obvious choice would be crossing the northern border to our often overlooked but incredibly peaceful neighbor, Canada. Of course, Americans love
Great
threatening to move
country.
to Canada, especially after presidential elections.
Sorry, guys, I'm back. I don't want to be rude, and it ate on camera, and I was just kind of hungry, so let's do this.
But the data shows that although many talk the talk, Americans rarely walk the walk. And they don't drive or fly either. Now, if you are one of the 10,000 US citizens each year who actually do mean it, I don't blame you. Since its founding in 1867, Canada has become a country with amazing public education, low crime, great food, friendly residents, and of course, some of the world's finest nature. The land of Banff, Vancouver Island, Niagara Falls, Toronto, and Montreal is also the second largest country on the planet, bordering 3 oceans. But despite its enormous size, Canada still manages to do a great job juggling all of its responsibilities and taking care of its people. I mean, while the US only gave a one-time payment of $1,200 to its recently out-of-work residents, Canada is giving $2,000 a month for the next 4 months. And they have universal healthcare that's free at the point of service. There's a reason Canada is consistently ranked as one of the best countries to live in the world.
Okay, so where's the bad
news?
news?
3,000 likes and I'll do a video on the top 10 best countries to live in the world. Anyways, despite the amazing quality of life here, the birthplace of pineapple pizza also isn't perfect. Find out why in my top 10 reasons not to move to Canada. And yes, pineapple pizza is originally from Ontario. Number 10.
Oh, sick.
Car insurance. Now, you might not have even thought of this one, but it's extremely expensive to own a car in Canada. Car insurance rates in most provinces are well above the rates in most states. Sure, it can actually be pretty cheap in Quebec, but in most provinces, you can expect to pay at least $1,200 a year on average. And if you live in Toronto or Vancouver, watch out, because the average cost is over $2,100 per year for a regular car, and that's if you have years of a squeaky clean driving record. If you've gotten a ticket or into an accident, or you're just young, car insurance could cost you up to $5,000 a year. Now, to be fair,
no, not 5,000
Canada
for me.
doesn't really offer a minimum coverage option like they do in America. In many cases, the minimum coverage in Canada is really like the best coverage you can get in most states. So while Canadian drivers do have to pay a bit more up front, at least they don't have to worry about getting sued or going bankrupt from an accident. Number 9. Places are very spread out. If you don't want to pay for expensive car insurance,
Ontario is so big.
Aren't going to get very far. Sure, you'll be able to get around the cities with good public transportation like Vancouver, Montreal, or Toronto, but it'll be a lot harder anywhere else. Like I said
the top
earlier,
of Ontario is
the
so
second largest country in the world, but it's also one of the least densely populated countries with just around 4 people per square kilometer. In comparison, the US has a population density of over 36 people per square kilometer. As you can probably guess, this leaves a whole lot of room for a whole lot of nothing. Well, technically not nothing, more like a whole lot of beautiful wilderness. But as far as human civilization goes, well, it's exactly that. Far. It takes over 80 hours to drive the near 7,500 kilometer Trans-Canada highway from coast to coast, and most major cities are at least a 6 to 7 hour drive apart. But hey, at least that also means there's a ton of gorgeous, untouched nature to explore. Well, that is if you can afford a car. Number 8. Healthcare. Now I know you're probably thinking, what? You said Canada has amazing healthcare with universal coverage that's
Yeah,
free
like
at
with
the
that.
point of service. Well, it does. But unless you had a major accident or are in life-threatening condition, the wait times are long. Now, to be fair, in the US, wait times are also pretty long, and it actually takes 24 days on average to see a doctor for a first-time appointment versus only 8 days in Canada, but the median wait time for a minor surgery or treatment is 19.8 weeks in Canada, which is more
Holy
than 3
crap.
times longer than in the US. It is free out of pocket though, so at least there's no going bankrupt for medical expenses or having to worry about insurance premiums and
Yeah.
deductibles, and no losing healthcare coverage either if you lose your job. Also, prescription drug and medicine prices are generally much cheaper in Canada than the US for the same exact drug. Many of the residents in Canada really like their system as they prefer the longer wait times to expensive premiums and deductibles. But if you're someone who just can't stand waiting around and you don't mind paying lots of money for immediate treatment or to see a specialist, the US is probably a better place for you. Number
It's really
7,
expensive
lack
there.
of good paying jobs. It's a good thing Canada has universal health care, because a lot of people wouldn't have any coverage if it was employer based instead. There just aren't many good paying jobs available here, especially if you weren't born in Canada. Now, to be fair, Canada's economy has been booming. Well, for Canada standards. There actually are a lot of high-end jobs, but most of them are taken. And whenever a new position does open up, literally hundreds of way overqualified residents apply for it, so the job market's extremely competitive. Of course, this always varies depending on
Not
your
in my
province,
city, though.
and qualifications, but as a whole, it's
My
pretty
city's
difficult
pretty
to find a
fine.
good-paying job in Canada if you aren't specialized in a skill that's in high demand. And even if you are, Canadian experience matters a lot to most employers. This might help explain the 7.8% Canadian unemployment rate compared to just 4.4% in the US. Although if you do get a job, incomes are slightly higher on average here than in the United States.
Yeah.
Number 6, awful internet. Maybe you're thinking, so what? I don't care about jobs. I already
don't
have
get
a
that
great
bad.
job online. Or I own an online business. Well, in that case,
My internet's not
Canada
that bad.
probably isn't the best place for you either, because the internet here is just plain awful. Sure, most of the big cities have more options if you can afford to shell out over $100 a month to get decent internet by American standards, like 75 megabit download and 10 megabit upload. But as soon as you start to get out into the suburbs and more rural areas, decent internet speeds just aren't available at all. And to make
yeah,
things
that's
even
true.
worse, many of the plans, even in the cities, have data caps, and in the rural areas, they all have data caps. If you go over your 80 gigabytes, you could end up paying some serious fees. Depending on where you live and how often you use the internet, you might end up spending $400 to $500 a month for crappy 5 megabit download speeds. Number 5. High taxes. No matter what your job is, you're obviously gonna have to pay taxes if you move here. I mean, it's not like the healthcare
Taxes are
infrastructure are gonna pay
the
for
worst.
themselves.
The
You might
worst
see that
taxes.
the highest tax rate in Canada is only 33% compared to 37% in the US, but look a little closer and you'll realize that that's because the highest bracket in Canada starts at income earned over 214,000 Canadian dollars, which is equivalent to about 153,000 US dollars, while the highest bracket in the US starts at 510,000 US dollars. On top of that, each province or territory has its own extremely high income
Ontario.
tax as well. Expect to pay at least 10 to 12% in additional taxes for most salaries in most provinces. And if you're in Quebec, oh boy, you're looking at an additional 26% in taxes on income earned over 106,000 Canadian dollars. To be fair, there's a lot more covered for you here than in the US, so you're kind of getting what you're paying for, like keeping the cities clean, paid family leave, the Canadian pension plan, and free healthcare. Just keep in mind that no matter where you move here, half your salary is probably going
in
to
taxes. Yeah.
Not to mention, sales tax is 5% across the country and can be an additional 6 to 10% depending on the province. And to top it all off, for your first few years of living in Canada, you might also have to pay US taxes or taxes to your original country. Number 4,
weird.
It's getting expensive. If you thought the taxes were bad enough,
yeah,
tell you
stuff we're
the
getting.
real estate market. Unless you make a lot of money, purchasing a home in Canada is going to be incredibly difficult, especially in Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia, where the prices are rising way faster than the incomes can keep up with.
Yeah,
in
but
fact,
that's because
Vancouver is currently the second least affordable city in North America, behind only San Francisco. The median home value is around 970,000 US dollars, and Toronto isn't much better with a median home value at 517,000 US dollars.
Hold on.
Of course,
Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa.
The further you get from the cities,
Cut that out. But I think it's because of the pandemic. Everything is going up by like 50 grand or like 100 grand. Like it's insane.
the cheaper things are, but we already discussed how expensive it is
I
to own a
make no
car for
sense,
that
to be
commute.
honest.
Housing aside, the cost of living here is just high in general. Many Canadians even
It's
travel
still pretty
across the border
expensive.
into the US to buy clothes and furniture at lower prices. And gas is usually
Yeah.
way cheaper in the States as well.
Oh my
But at least
god.
groceries and essential goods are pretty on par in price
Gas
for
is
the
so
most part.
expensive here.
Number 3, passive-aggressive residents. The whole Canadians are just so friendly saying isn't exactly true.
It's not
Polite,
true.
for sure, but friendly wouldn't be the best word to describe them. Canadians, for the most part, are very well-mannered, but they often aren't honest about their feelings except with close friends. This
Some
can
of
lead to
them
a
are
somewhat
not great.
passive-aggressive and avoidant culture. In
I
the
know.
US, people are usually more comfortable saying they don't want to be friends or that they don't want to hang out. But in Canada, people just make plans that they don't stick to because they don't want to say no to your face. Now, in small Canadian towns, the residents are usually a lot more genuine and will go out of their way with kindness. But in larger cities, people are much less genuinely hospitable and more just non-confrontational. This is nice when you're just visiting and it seems like everyone's so friendly, but if you live here for a while, you might
And
get
then
annoyed
you-
at not knowing
yeah,
what
then you
people really
realize.
think of you and having to interpret what they really mean. Basically, if a Canadian tells you, "Thanks for coming out," or "I'm in a hurry, sorry," they probably mean F off. Number 2, it gets cold. Now, while there are many problems in Canada, they
Yeah.
all pale in
cold.
comparison to
Really
the cold.
cold. Do not
Considering
like
most
the
of the
cold.
country lies above the
Look at
49th
that.
parallel, winter
Just
in
snow.
most parts of Canada means 6 to 8 months of not being able to feel your face, 2 to 3 months of insane cold, dangerous roads, and a whole
Yeah.
lot of crazy storms. And when I say most parts, I really mean like
Snow days every
part
week.
except Vancouver and
I remember that.
Victoria.
That
And while
was
they
great.
are more similar in climate to Seattle, so they never get too cold, they still aren't exactly a tropical vacation either. And every other city in Canada gets well below freezing. Places like Quebec, Edmonton, Regina, or Winnipeg routinely drop below -30 Celsius, which is -22 degrees Fahrenheit. Most cities get around 50 inches of snow per year, but places like Ottawa or Montreal can get over 90. Let's just say you better like shoveling. The cold is pretty much the reason why over 90% of Canadians live within 150 miles of the US border. Go any farther north and, well, just look at what temperatures in Yellowknife were earlier this year.
Too cold. Too cold.
Number 1. The immigration process is difficult. Speaking of the US
Yeah.
border, unless you're a highly desired worker with a special skill, there's a lot you'll have to go through to even be able to move to Canada. Although US citizens don't
So you
need
gotta
any
take
type
a
of visa
test,
or
right? Just to move
authorization
to
to
Canada?
visit Canada, this is definitely
no
not the
idea.
case for immigrating to Canada. In order to qualify for residency, you have to have either a highly desired skill that can be used in a Canadian business, a job waiting for you in Canada, relatives or friends who have nominated you for permanent residency, or you gotta be an entrepreneur with a high net worth. And you can
Holy
basically
crap.
forget about applying if you've ever been convicted of a crime, have a serious health risk, are in financial trouble, or if one of your family members has been banned from Canada. The process isn't easy or cheap, and even if you marry a Canadian citizen, you won't necessarily get citizenship. Now be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're interested
Wow.
in more videos.
That was great. That was great. That was great. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment down below what video you want me to do next. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everybody.